I am JP Matthew Wanning. It's now time for the CanTorque Racing Report. COVID has been tough on many of us, so some we've put on a bit of weight, but it's all muscle. Next generation RT Series low-profile hydraulic actuators are now available. Stronger and more durable than ever. Arrange a demonstration at www.cantorque.com. We welcome and now in Colin Livingston. And Colin, the inaugural, we talked about last week, but the inaugural Music City Grand Prix was very eventful. Kind of take us through what was just a crazy race in a tight, great city.
Yeah, hey, Struddy. I'd probably go with the term debacle. It was an absolute mess. Now, I have to also acknowledge that it was one of the most watched races that NBC Sports has had. So, like, the attendance at the race was great, but man, the product on track was just terrible. I mean, there was cautions, like just ridiculous amounts of cautions. There were accidents under caution. We saw, eventual race winner Marcus Ericsson drove over the back of Sebastian Bourdais under caution, like launched his car, ended Bourdais' race. Didn't really do a lot of damage. They were able to replace the wing that broke off on his car. And somehow through pit stop strategy was able to get there and take the win. But they definitely have to relook at trying to configure this track a little bit differently. I mean, it's in the street, so it's not really a racetrack, but it's so tight, it's so bumpy that it boggles my mind that you could take cars that are intended to go so quickly, and what IndyCar was thinking about trying to, they were basically just parading around. Even when they were racing, they're not really going at significant speeds. I mean, they drove over the Korean Memorial Bridge there and back. That was, they were expecting to hit 180 miles an hour, but it's so bumpy, these guys were barely able to get to 160. But yeah, with the tight corners and the tight track, it just didn't lend itself to very good racing.
So when you say tight, is it like there's not like the turns are too tight, or just the width of the racing track?
Both. The corners were extremely tight, but there wasn't a lot of width. And without the width, to get two cars side by side or to be able to run, a faster line, you need room. You just simply have to have, exit space when you're trying to reaccelerate. And as tight as the walls are, and, as many sharp corners as they had, and some of them were in rapid succession, little mistakes turned into catastrophes. Like there was a caution kind of mid race where two guys made just insignificant contact, and then it was like an 8 or 10 car pileup, and the cars were just stopped there. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't go anywhere, which led to one of two red flags as well. So yeah, hopefully they can address it, because where there's that much interest in watching a race, you don't want to let people down like that.
The former NASCAR champion, 7-time NASCAR champ, is still kind of having a tough time to get himself up to IndyCar. What is the difference he's having trouble adjusting to? It is not letting himself to get much inside, top 20, top 25 in any race.
Yeah, he's progressed for sure as a driver. This is Jimmy Johnson. But I don't think Johnson underappreciated what it was, but I think people greatly underestimate how difficult these cars are to drive, and especially to drive them well. Trying to figure out, just the mechanics of the car and what you can and can't adjust. And then to be able to get the car to its threshold. I mean, this is going to be a tough season for Johnson. He's already said he's coming back next year. We'll add the ovals, which he's not doing this year. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, it's kind of sad to see. He's got one finish, I think, he's got one top 20 finish, and that's it so far, which, we know that Johnson's in great equipment from Chip Ganassi. I know he's going to keep working, and he's really picking the brain of everyone that's around him to try and figure out where they need to improve. And I know he's not going to give up. I just hope that at some point he'll start to see some success.
Breaking all things racing now, it's that CanTorque Race Report. Colin Livingston. Colin, F1, another situation with a right of view for Aston Martins. What are we going to start seeing what happened here? And are we going to start seeing more of these as we head through the season?
Yeah, we talked about this last week with the Sebastian Vettel's car finished second, I believe, on the grid, but they weren't able to produce enough fuel for a proper fuel sample. FIA mandates there needs to be at least 1 liter left in the tank. They were only able to extract a third of that. That was denied by the FIA. Then through some more investigation, they announced this morning that it appears that there was an issue with the fuel system, that they were losing fuel, which is why they thought that there was more on board than what there actually was. So that's actually, I think that's ended now formally, so the grid can be finalized. Yeah, I mean, it's these kinds of things are becoming very common now, and I think there's a lot of sour grapes that these teams are, either pushing boundaries or, like we saw a couple weeks ago with Red Bull and Mercedes. Like when teams aren't getting their way right now, they're almost acting like children, and kind of throwing little temper tantrums, trying to get people to think differently, even if it's just to make the other side look bad and to sway public interest. I think these are fairly destructive moves that these teams are making.
Let's talk about the off-camber carts. And it sounds like they were just flying around last night, and a young man set a new track record.
Yeah, it was crazy fast last night. I did a test session on Tuesday, and we were having a real hard time getting the cart into the track. Like it was just really low grip. It was cool. There was a lot of wind. The track was a little bit dirty, and I was expecting the same kind of thing. Yeah, this young fella, Griffin Dowler, he's been racing forever. I've raced against both of his brothers. We've got experience with them over on the NASCAR side of things as well. He's been quick, kind of in everything that he's done. But yeah, he ripped a lap of 46.1 seconds last night in qualifying, which I'm not 100% sure. It's got to be 0.6 faster than we've gone in these carts. I even managed to set a new personal best. I went about 0.2 faster than I'd ever gone. Just missed breaking into the 47s. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I got to have a little chuckle with my friend Devin Gellings, 16-year-old female driver that we've got out at the track. It's a fun night. By no stretch of the imagination am I even in the ballpark of speed of what she can actually do, but she had some mechanical issues, got stuck in the back, and I was able to have a little fun with her at the end of the night. Get to boast about beating a 16-year-old girl.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for this insight, and we'll chat to you next week, my man.
Sounds good, man.